Well, the state is putting companies that make and sell cookware on notice. Get the lead out.
A new Washington law restricts the amount of lead metal allowed in the manufacturing of pots and pans. Last year, the King 5 investigators exposed merchants that ignored warnings about toxic lead in imported cookware.
Now, Chris Ingalls reports on the first of its kind state law to crack down on violators.
We bought all of these pots within the last year on Amazon. In the future, selling any of these in Washington state will be illegal.
This House Bill 1551, this gives the Department of Ecology the authority to regulate cookware made and sold to Washingtonians to ensure it does not contribute to lead exposure.
Governor Jay Inslee signed House Bill 1551 into law. It will limit lead in cookware made or sold in Washington. The first of its kind state law in the U.S. restricts metal cookware to no more than 5 parts per million in lead content. At 357 parts per million lead, this aluminum pot is 71 times that limit. Testing showed this pot is 95 times over the limit. And this one contains 104 times the amount of lead that will be allowable by law. We purchased each of these pots on Amazon for less than $25.
I mean, it's a huge win. It means so much for Afghan Health Initiative. It means so much for the community.
Ariana Anjaz and the Afghan Health Initiative have been pushing for the legislation.
And we start to see a trend that disproportionately Afghan immigrants and refugees who came into the United States, their children especially, had a high level of lead in their blood.
We purchased a few off the internet, and we actually had a few that were donated to us.
Working with public health agencies, scientists pinpointed these imported traditional Afghan cookers as the source of the toxic lead. They were sold on websites like Amazon and Etsy as aluminum cookware, but tests showed dangerously high amounts of lead in the metal forged by foreign manufacturers. One Afghan child was so hungry for nutrients, his family said he was eating dirt.
So we suggested them to go get testing, and we actually found out that the blood lead content in that child's blood was immense. And it really helped that family to kind of understand why he wasn't listening, why he had such behavioral issues, why he had such anger issues, why he wasn't eating properly, and of course, why your child was eating dirt to begin with.
It's not just Afghan cookware. Further testing by King County's Hazardous Waste Management Program found a wide range of imported aluminum cookware contained unsafe amounts of lead. Websites that put these purchases at your fingertips seem reluctant to pull the products, even when warned about the dangers.
Silence, radio silence, yeah. We reached out. We had very, very little response from anyone.
First tonight, Amazon has removed a line of potentially dangerous cookware from its website.
Amazon removed all Afghan pressure cookers last July after a King 5 investigators report. In response to our recent questions about the new law, Amazon resent the same statement from last year's story. Amazon requires all products offered in our store to comply with applicable laws, and we monitor the products in our store for safety concerns and, when appropriate, remove products. However, this Chinese-manufactured aluminum pot from our July story, which tested at 95 times the lead limit allowed by the new law, is among the items still for sale on Amazon. Until now, no specific law targeted lead in cookware, which is why Representative Jerry Paulette sponsored House Bill 1551.
We're going to have Washington State set a national standard here.
The new law, which goes into effect at the start of 2026, fines merchants who knowingly sell cookware manufactured with too much lead.
Right, and we have 821 parts per million.
Okay, that's quite a bit of lead, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Since sellers could argue they're unaware of the contents of their products, lead tests like these will be handed over to the State Department of Ecology to monitor compliance in Washington.
We tested our kids, they did the blood test, everything, so they tested positive.
That will mean less heartache for parents like Faizul Haq Safi, an Afghan immigrant who learned when he arrived in the United States that his children have high levels of lead in their blood. The new law will spare others.
A lot of Afghans still are using it. Unfortunately, we don't know anything about the lead poisoning.
King County researchers emphasize that the danger is imported aluminum cookware like this pot we bought, not U.S. made, but it's hard to tell the difference, of course. They say your safest bet is to buy pots and pans made of stainless steel and not aluminum. We have a link to other tips from these experts. Text the keyword POTS to the number on your screen, 206-448-4545, and we will send you all the details.
So this law obviously is going to protect Washington, but what about the rest of the country? Should the federal government take action on this?
You know, these pots are sold everywhere, right?
Right.
So the FDA did issue an import alert on the Afghan pressure cookers, but that's all it's done so far. The local researchers have asked the FDA for more. For example, the FDA has regulated ceramic dishware since 1971 because of lead. Researchers here think that it's time for similar nationwide restrictions on aluminum cookware, but you know, the feds move slowly, if at all, which they're not sure if they're going to do anything yet. At least the King County folks aren't.
But at least they know about it at this point.
They know about it, and in the state of
is.
Washington, there's a new law. So yeah, there you go.
Way to go.
Nice
Good
job.
work.
Okay.
Thanks.